Yeah. Yeah, actually, now that you kind of touch on that, how was that experience to go to a totally different country and kind of uh, and was the psychology different in any way, the area, the fields?
Mm. Yes, yes, it was different, but I think Maggie sort of um, warned me, I guess, about the experience of shifting from a colonized country to kind of colonial centre, and the sort of um, like one of the narratives you have about the UK and New Zealand is kind of gone now. But it used to be a dominant narrative, the mother country, and this idea that our identity is England, is we're New Zealanders but we're English, like this kind of ridiculous thing. It's not quite, not stated in those kind of explicit terms, but it's encapsulated in that notion of the mother country. And I really didn't think the process of transitioning from the New Zealand cultural context to the English cultural context would be difficult and challenging, and yet it really was, because it felt uncomfortable and wrong and unfamiliar in all sorts of ways. And I got so many things so wrong because I just had no idea how to read social cues in an English context. And interaction is so different, and it was really quite an overwhelming experience. And Maggie had kind of prepared me for that a little bit, which I'm not grateful for. But she'd also kind of commented on what the intellectual experience would be like, and the intellectual experience was also really overwhelming. Like, I think the people I was surrounded with had read more, had thought more, were more confident in their positions and understandings of psychology. So it felt like, it really did feel like being the little kid from the colonies who turned up and feels clueless. And, like that was both life and and intellectual environment. And the Loughborough context encouraged us to be, knowledgeable, opinionated, argumentative, reflect on, consider things, like, not always, I don't think always entirely in positive ways, but it encouraged that kind of fiery, fierce, thoughtful, engaged debate, deeply intellectual, of course, but like that kind of thing. And so it was a and I don't know to what extent that was partly particular to Loughborough and what it had with the the incredible scholars that it had there and the sort of types of students that went there, and whether that was a familiar experience for other people of my kind of age doing PhDs or not. But it was I think it was a daunting place, and I don't think I was quite prepared for that, how daunting it was going to be.
Yeah, I can't imagine that. I'm sure it was quite tough as you describe.
Yeah, Maggie said something to me like, she said something to me like, everyone will have read more than you, everyone will have thought more than you, everyone will have, opinions about things, but don't let that put you off. Like, it was a real, like, this is what you will expect, and that's exactly what it felt like.
Gosh.